Coming up on Mountain News this morning, there were lots of happy faces at the Salvation Army in Lexington yesterday. And for 6 years, volunteers have gathered at Perry Central on Thanksgiving morning to put together food boxes for those in need. Plus, one family worked with the community to provide a Thanksgiving meal for those who keep everyone in the community safe.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. The time is 6:30 on November 29th. I'm Madison Pergram, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News This Morning. So you might just be getting in from shopping or waking up to prepare to go shop, but Brandon Robinson has a pretty good forecast for you this morning if you're going out there to shop.
Or you may just be taking a break. Some folks come home until the stores reopen to take a break.
Quick, you got to have that 30-minute power nap.
That's right, exactly. So if you're doing that, you're going to see nice conditions. A little chilly this morning in some spots, but as we take a look at the WYMT studio camera, things looking pretty good as we head through the first part of your day. We're looking at 40 in Middlesboro. We'll hear from Will Puckett live here in just a second. 33 in Pikeville is our cold spot this morning. 43 just down the road from Middlesboro, and Jacksboro is the warm spot. 36 in Harlan, 37 here in Hazard, London, Williamsburg, and Ashland this morning. If you're heading toward Lexington, it's 39 there. Irvin also at 37. Of course, a couple of degrees cooler than this time yesterday in a few locations in those northern counties, and a couple of degrees warmer in those southern counties where they didn't have the cloud cover yesterday. Your appcast today, you're going to see back and forth between clouds and sun. 47 for a daytime high. If those clouds stick around most of the day, we probably won't make that. We got close yesterday with our 43 forecast high, or 44 was the forecast high. We got to 43. So hopefully the clouds will clear out just in time to see that trend happen again today. We'll talk more about the weekend forecast coming up here in a little bit. Madison.
Thank you, Brandon. Well, mere minutes away until shoppers can start taking advantage of the deals at the Middlesboro Mall for Black Friday, joining people around the country doing the same. We go to WYMT's Will Puckett one last time to take a look at the growing number of shoppers. Will, it looks like more people are getting there.
Yeah, Madison, people showed up about a half an hour to an hour ago to get into the Belk right over my right shoulder. JCPenney to my left still has about a half an hour until they open. But a lot of people, like I said, were here earlier, and a lot of them actually came last night trying to get ahead of those Black Friday deals. There will be more deals, I am assured, today than what they had yesterday. But of course, this is all getting people prepared for Christmas time and all the presents and the family time that Christmas brings.
We're happy that they're here. We're happy that they're part of it. Love this area. We're very prepared. We'll be stocked. Still plenty of stuff to buy and everything, and we still have the great Stain bargains. So.
Now, I am an open critic to Brandon's October marks the start of Christmas music season. I'll fully admit that anytime you ask me, but now Thanksgiving is in the rearview mirror and it's time to start talking Christmas. Hopefully Brandon's going to start talking about snow on a more regular basis soon. Again, the Middlesboro Mall opens fully at 7. Belk opened at 6. We'll have much more on this all throughout today. And then Cyber Monday, Sunday, and Small Business Saturday tomorrow. Madison, I'll send it back to you in the studio from Middlesboro. Will Puckett, Mountain News.
Thank you. Well, hopefully you'll go in there and get you some gifts. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around how you got out there, that assignment at the mall, and we're here. But for now, for 6 years, volunteers have gathered at Perry Central on Thanksgiving morning to put together food boxes for those in need. This year, they deliver about 1,000 boxes, and students and staff from every school in Perry County volunteered. All the students were put to different tasks to make the packing process run smoothly. Perry Central student Samantha Turner says the preparation was extensive.
They've actually been in for the last 2 days preparing food and just getting everything set up to come in. And we had some here as early as like 5:30 this morning.
The food boxes included all the classic Thanksgiving foods, and the meals were delivered across the county from Leatherwood to Buckhorn. And two Louisville brothers, Alex and Tommy Gift, lost their mother to cancer 9 years ago. And Thanksgiving was her favorite holiday. So in her memory, the brothers did this. They ordered a catered meal, turkey stuffing, all the trimmings, and even dessert for the patients at U of L's bone marrow transplant unit. These are patients who are either too ill or weak or too immune compromised to leave the hospital and will be with their families. They brought enough food for about 80 people, so there was plenty for visitors and hospital staff too.
My brother and I lost our mom to a 28-year fight with breast cancer in 2010. Thanksgiving was her favorite holiday, and so we wanted to do something that helps strangers that are fighting cancer on her favorite holiday.
Tommy Gift and his brother Alex set up the Mary Jane Gift Quality of Life Fund at the James Graham Brown Cancer Center in memory of their mother. They wanted to help families who are going through the same thing they went through. And there were lots of happy faces at the Salvation Army in Lexington yesterday. Some 800 people enjoyed a Thanksgiving meal. It's a tradition that has been going on for years. It's also a meal that includes familiar faces in Kentucky. This year, Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes, along with Coach Cal, helped to serve these meals. Some of us players came along too.
A lot of people aren't as fortunate as us, and for us to be able to come here and help out all these people, it's just really good.
Volunteers also delivered food to the elderly and people who weren't able to leave their homes. And early yesterday morning, Chad's Hope, a drug treatment center, caught fire. The Manchester Fire Department responded around 1 a.m. The students were making final preparations for Thanksgiving dinner when they smelled smoke. The fire started in the attic around the chimney. The fire was contained to one small area, and students were moved to a nearby hotel as a safety precaution.
We got permission from the fire marshal to go to the building and retrieve, 4 or 5 days worth of clothing and textbooks and Bibles and that kind of thing, so we can, if necessary, we can stay away for a few days.
Steve May said several local churches and organizations have offered food money and supplies, and the students are being housed by the Manchester Baptist Church. And a meal for those in need in Laurel County who keep everyone in the community safe. The Wolf family has given back for years, and this year they decided to host a meal for first responders and their families on Thanksgiving. But they did not do this on their own. Texas Roadhouse, Walmart, Save-A-Lot, Wendy's, and others donated food and utensils. Kenneth Wolf said many have told him what he's doing is noble, but he sees it another way.
I just think giving back to them is not noble. It's the right thing to do. It's what the Lord would want us to do.
Wolf said he went to all the first responders in the county and found out about 50 would be working on Thanksgiving. So he prepared enough food for 150 people, enough for their families too. And concerns are mounting inside some Kentucky jails, and one reoccurring problem is inmate transfers, a practice that jailers say puts both the inmate and the staff at risk. A new bill pre-filed in Frankfort aims to change that. Hillary Thornton explains.
Jails across the state of Kentucky operate uniquely and have different levels of care and capabilities. One thing many of them have in common is that they are operating at or over capacity. Many jailers say often compounding to that issue is when an inmate is transferred to their facility that really cannot take on the extra burden.
They're not checking to see, do they have the capacity to hold the prisoner? Do they have the ability to provide the medical staff to the prisoner? And with that, sometimes inmates wind up in situations they shouldn't be in.
State Representative Philip Pratt says that is a situation his jailer in Scott County brought to his attention. He says earlier this year, the Scott County Jail, while operating at more than 80% over capacity, received an inmate charged with murder who is both an escape risk and a suicide risk. Because of that, requiring an isolation cell, which Scott County only has 4 of. Meanwhile, though, he says the Franklin County jailer said he could properly house that inmate.
Actually said they could take the inmate. Judge didn't ask him if they wanted it, transferred them to Scott County, who didn't want the inmate, and at that point in time, it's now put a strain on Scott County, and these jailers don't get a say-so.
Representative Pratt says how the process works right now, an attorney can request a transfer for an inmate. A judge then signs off on that, and they say that usually happens without determining if the receiving jail has the needed medical care, programs, special staffing, or housing units. Now, this bill would not take that authority away from judges, but instead open up a line of communication between those that the transfer would impact.
This is to allow the jailers to have a say-so, the judge to have a say-so, and hopefully it's better for everyone in the system.
In Frankfort, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Now, the bill would also set a cap for how much a county jail could be billed for costs related to the inmate's transfer. And a gas leak is now under control in Wolf County. Troublesome Creek Gas Company cut off service on Tuesday. They think the leak was caused by a recent home explosion in Campton. 3 people were killed in the blast: Philip, Suanne, and Albert Vanderpool. A GoFundMe page has been set up for the family, and investigators haven't released a cause for the initial explosion. And the fire at a Texas chemical plant is still burning. A massive explosion at TPC Group plant sent 3 people to the hospital Wednesday morning. The plant has received violations for years and paid at least $180,000 in fines. The incident released chemicals into the air that could cause health problems like nausea and headaches. And a Michigan man pulled a German World War I mortar out of a river Tuesday. Grand Rapids police said it was probably no longer dangerous, but they took extra precautions since it was old and had been underwater so long. Joseph Alexander said he found the mortar while magnet fishing off a bridge in Grand Rapids. Alexander says he wasn't sure what it was when he pulled it up, but people on social media said it was a grenade and he should turn it into authorities.
Forecast this morning, still cloudy across parts of the area. We're going to continue to see that. And the moisture trying to show up in central Kentucky, that's not reaching the ground at this point. I checked a couple of different spots there, a couple of different sources, and that's just showing up here on the satellite. Maybe some moisture up in the sky there that's not reaching the ground. But you see cloud cover is moving in. Temperatures across the region a little bit cooler in those eastern counties there. 32 Wise, 33 Plankville, 34 Prestonsburg and Logan. But everybody else there in the mid to upper 30s and even close to 40 or above there. Middlesboro and Jacksboro, both of the 40s. Your out the door forecast this morning is going to feature a mix of clouds and sun, just kind of like yesterday. We'll see those clouds start to clear maybe for a little while later this afternoon, but they'll start to increase again tonight. So 47 if we get some the sunshine in here, but we may only make it into the mid 40s if we don't. Madison.
Thank you, Brandon, and thank you for joining Mountain News this morning. Here's a look at what's ahead. People gathered in Hong Kong on Thursday to show support for the United States after President Trump signed the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act.